What's up people, in today's video we are going to take a look at the Medford M-48 flipper. My first Medford actually. This I own now for 1.5 years, and yeah, I kind of really disliked Medford knives before buying this knife, and I don't do anymore, I have to say. This really sold me on Medford knives. These are great American made, really high end, really well put together knives. And I think this was my first because this is kind of an EDC-able Medford. Most of the Medfords are not that EDC friendly. They are big and chunky and heavy, and this one is the opposite. It's really slim and thin and lightweight and easy to carry, and it still comes in at 4 inches or 10 centimeters of blade length, which is a size that I really like. And I don't like to carry, I like to carry large knives, but I don't like to carry bricks in my pockets, and this is exactly that. This is a really slim and lightweight gentleman's kind of carry. And yeah, he sold me with the design alone. I thought it was really beautiful, really sleek and elegant, and kind of simplistic in a sense. And there's a lot going on. It's not that simplistic, but it is. The outer lines are pretty simple, and everything is pretty straight. You can see the entire handle to blade. Everything is straight here. You get a lot of stiffness to the blade because everything is in such a straight line, and the blade keeps its thickness pretty far up, so it has a really robust point. They even did like a secondary grind. It was kind of weird. If you first look at this knife and you see the secondary grind at the tip, it looks super weird, but if you get it in hand and use it, you kind of understand it pretty quickly. It's just a little bit unusual. I think they call it like a Magnus tip or a Magnus grind. So what they did here, they use a thin blade stock in the first place. I'm not even sure how thin this is. Let me check that real quick. So we have, that's like a 2.8 millimeter blade stock thickness, so pretty thin blade stock in the first place, but it keeps that thickness relatively far up. And then they hollow grind these deeply hollow ground. These are really slicey and thin behind the edge. They cut beautifully, and to not make the tip as flimsy, they kind of leave the thickness, the full thickness here, and then they give it like a flat ground secondary bevel up here. And because there's so much thickness up here, as you can see, the edge bevel also widens up. It's really unusual to do a blade like this, but it makes a lot of sense practical wise. Although I'm a kind of a thin tip guy, I like thin tip knives, so that sounded wrong. But yeah, I like thin tip knives, but I wouldn't mind if they pulled the hollow grind straight through all the way to the end. But it is what it is, and I think it performs really great. You certainly don't snap your tip easily with this setup right here, and you still get a thin geometry, thin cutting edge. And I mean, this hollow ground blade is such a beautiful performer. It really slices well. I really like it. Actually, let me see if I can show you how deep the hollow grind is. I'm not sure if you're able to pick that up, but that's quite a deep hollow ground blade. They took out a lot of weight and a lot of material from that blade. It's great. The whole knife only weighs like 99 grams, which is 3.4 ounces. for a 4-inch blade that has an aluminum show scale and a titanium spring with actually zero milling on the inside, so there's zero weight reduction, and it also has a full aluminum backspacer. Being that light is actually pretty crazy. That's a big achievement, and I think it's due to them taking a lot of material out of the blade being relatively thin, the whole knife being relatively thin, and aluminum also is not the heaviest material, but it's still very rigid. The aluminum is anodized. They make it in a bunch of different handle colors, and this is the green version. It's like a really dark kind of green, like a British racing green, or an Irish whiskey bottle kind of. That's the kind of color they went for here, and I think it's really beautiful. I definitely am a green person, and I like this tone of green quite a bit, which is why I chose this version. They make it in a bunch of other handle colors. I think yellow, blue, red, black blades, bronze hardware, all that stuff. I think this is still the most classiest looking and most beautiful version to me, with the stone washed frame lock and the satin blade. I think it looks good. I'm not sure if I like the tank tracks on the scales. They give you a little bit of traction, and I guess it is because the name of the knife is M48, which is a tank, and they use the actual tank tracks of the M48 on the front scale here. I still don't like them. I think this is such an elegant looking knife. It doesn't really need tank tracks on the front, but they are there, and you kind of get used to them really quickly. But I wish this was kind of plain or had a different sort of milling done to it. You get a deep carry pocket clip that attaches to both sides, and yeah, it's really simple. I think they did an excellent job here on the setup. You can just switch it if you're a left-handed person, and it doesn't really take away from the design of the knife. You get a giant lanyard hole, which I have never used. It's crazy that they fit a lanyard hole this big in this slim of a frame, actually. That's quite an achievement. The pocket clips works really well. Super deep carry. It's kind of big for this knife, but I think it works really well. You can't really complain here. I love the detail on the clip. A little dog here. This is General Patton, who designed the M48 tank. This was his dog, apparently. So it's a unique little detail, actually. I kind of like it. More companies should do things like that. So just a little dog on the pocket clip. Why not? You know. And then on the other side you get I think the serial number and 4 stars, because he was a 4-star general. And then on the top you have Made in USA. And on the front side you have the Medford logo and the stamp S, which I'm not sure if that stands for S35VN. Might be. So this is S35VN. People always complain when I say S35VN. They think it's S45VN. It's S35. Okay, it's that steel. And how's the steel? I think you get exactly what you would expect from S35VN. It sharpens up well. It doesn't hold an edge super long, but it doesn't chip at all. So it's a very reliable steel, and takes an edge relatively well. Not the best in edge retention, which S45 never was. I think it's a good steel. It's a good all-rounder steel. It has a little bit of everything: toughness, edge retention, but not extreme edge retention like other CPM steels. And yeah, good corrosion resistance and good sharpenability. So I think it's a jack of all trades. It's a good steel. It's a no-brainer steel. I think it's a good stuff. When I say not as high in edge retention, I mean in comparison to some of the crazy steels that are out there on the market. It's still better than most steels. Okay, so don't worry about it. It's a good heat treatment on here, I think. Runs on bearings. The action out of box was super stiff, so it had a really hard detent. which I like. I like the harder detents more than the super soft detents on flippers, which is also why I gravitated towards this knife in the first place, because I don't like most flippers that are on the market, which is why I don't have a lot of flippers in my collection. I think I only have a handful of flippers in my knife collection. I really go for thumb stud knives more often, and so when I pick a flipper, I'm really picky how it's performing, and I like harder detents. So this had a really stiff and hard detent, and over the years, over the last year I should say, it kind of dialed into a medium detent, and also the disengagement, which was really sharp in the beginning. Medford's always sharp at this corner right here. They're super sharp on the disengagement at first, and then your thumb gets used to it after a couple of weeks, and then you are fine. So it's now a medium detent and a medium break, and I think it's the perfect flipper action. It's really well done. It's not, super easy to open, easy to close, drop shutty kind of thing because the detent is so soft. No, it's really not that. It's kind of a definitive, strong, and secure. And it feels like a tool more than a fidget toy. And I guess that's part of the reason I like the harder detents. This is a tool. You feel that it is not designed to sit there and, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I really like the action. I think it's well done. As you can see, the stop pins are actually on the inside of the knife. So there's no stop pin here. These are the stop pins, and they milled in some tracks where the stop pins hide. And it works really well. I think this gives the knife a lot more, a lot less blade play over time. This is really secure. There's zero up and down, side to side blade play whatsoever. And the crazy thing about this is I've flipped this knife quite a bit and used it quite a bit, and it didn't develop blade play in 1.5 years, and I never had to adjust the pivot. Have never taken it apart, never adjusted the pivot. This is still solid as on the first day. It's just the action got a little smoother. So, and this is part of why I like Medford so much, I think, is because they are really, really well put together, and you kind of feel they are built to last for a long time. This knife doesn't seem to have developed any kinds of damages over the last 1.5 years, and it's so well made. It's crazy. These are also expensive knives. They should be well made, on the other hand, but yeah, they are, I don't know, they are built to last for sure. Since then I have picked up another Medford because I liked the M-48 so much, which is the Slim Midi Marauder. So here's the Slim Midi Marauder, which is also a thinner EDC friendly kind of Medford, which is not the case with Medfords usually, like I said. And yeah, this one will get its own video also. This is also a great knife. They are all, the Medfords I've handled so far, they're great. I really didn't like the design on the Medfords, although the M48 is kind of unique. Usually Medfords look like this, and I think they're not the most prettiest knife, to be honest. But they're so clean. These knives are built with a precision that's very, very hard to compare any knives to them. Here's a Chris Reeves Avenza, which I guess would be only knife company I could think of that you could compare the Medford quality to. I think they're just so well built, and they're not even really comparable because Chris Reeves feels so different to Medfords. Medfords just have a little bit different of a feeling, and they're really, I don't know, it's hard to explain. The action is really classy, really smooth, and everything seems to be machined super precisely, I guess, which is also why they cost so much. I didn't like Medford as a person in the beginning because I think he talks a lot of trash sometimes, and he says a lot of things that I disagree with, but I actually met him in real life, and I think in person he's a really good dude. Maybe he doesn't get across his message always that nicely, okay? But I think he's a good man, and he makes really good knives. Even though I disagree with him, I will certainly buy a couple of his knives in the future as well, because they are just so well made. But they're really expensive, I get that. I'm not looking at every single Medford in the future, but I kind of, it's hard to resist because they're so well made. They're just really good tools, and they work really well also because they have, most of these have thin hollow grinds, and yeah, I like when he does the slimmer, thinner and lighter weight stuff also, like the Slim Mini Murata I showed you before. Yeah, so this is the M48. I think I paid like, I want to say it was like 500-ish. They are a little bit more expensive now. Not sure if I would go for a 600-ish. I think they're still worth it. Actually, I think they're still worth it. You get what you pay for. You just don't have to be expecting like a super light detent and like a fidget toy, because these are more built like I said, like tools and not fidget spinners. And I don't know. This one came in this box. Usually they have like my other Medford had like a hard case, plastic hard case. This one only came in a box, and the certificates are don't expect the hard case that these Medfords sometimes come in. I'm not sure if they always do that or just sometimes do that. I don't know. But yeah, such a beautiful, elegant knife. Simplistic, giant flipper tab. And a super streamlined and very slim profile. I mean, I have to show you this before I end this video. It's like a Recon 1, okay? And if you... I mean, these are the same... Let's see, the cutting edge to cutting edge. Yeah, this one has the same amount of cutting edge, but look at the size difference. I mean, this is crazy. Crazy. Closed up even. This is a really slim and easy to carry and super, I don't know, lightweight and simplistic kind of design. I really like that. I think this is the most beautiful flipper on the market. Might even be my favorite flipper on the market, or at least my favorite flipper knife that I have. It's a great knife. It's a great knife. Probably never gonna sell this, to be honest. This is amazing. Yeah, so that's it for today's video. The Medford M48 flipper. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave your Medford thoughts in the comments. I know they are going to be wild because he's a very controversial person, but I get that. He makes good knives, okay? Don't hate on him too hard. Yeah, that's it for today's video. Maybe we see each other in another video. Goodbye, people.